Yo, Scott Aragon, thank you for the 100, man. 85% of all youths in prison come from fatherless homes. Fathers keep their sons out of prisons and daughters off the stripper pole. Scott, that is profound and true.
Correlation does not imply causation. So first of all, show me the studies and then show me how they gather that data.
It's the majority of men in prisons were raised in single mother households.
That's negating all the other environmental factors.
Sure, there's other factors. It's not a guarantee if you're raised by a single mother that you're going to become a criminal, but
I say that it's more likely if you use that statistic to kind of boost your argument, but that statistic in and of itself isn't a good argument.
What do you mean?
It's not a strong argument. It's one facet to a very complicated social
actually
structure.
one of the strongest predictors of criminality aside from socioeconomics is growing up in a one-parent, or it's not even necessarily one-parent household. It's growing up without a father. It's a major predictor.
It can, there are indicators, and you can pull out these data points, of course. You can say if you wear a bra to bed, if 51% of women that wear a bra to bed get breast cancer, you can say wearing a bra to bed causes breast cancer. But you're not looking at, okay, what's the air quality like in that area? Why were those people placed in that area? What kind of policing is around that area that causes them to stay in that area more?
What kind of policing causes breast cancer, though? I think that
what?
That's not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying at all. But my point is,
going to be the dumbest thing.
Regardless of the example, my point is that one data point, even if you can pull out data points and say, hey, this is more likely in this scenario, true, but that doesn't cause it, or correlation does not imply causation. There's a ton of other factors.
But you can, removing all the stats, and they have done studies on this, and they take quite a bit of biographical information from prisoners upon intake, and they've done studies on this. Removing all that, though, I think it's just almost common knowledge that it's better to grow up with two parents versus one.
I actually agree with you guys, and just because I might have a counterpoint and maybe a little devil's advocate doesn't mean I agree with the overall point that a two-parent household is better and creates more well-rounded people. However, it's just not it's not a strong argument, and it's an incorrect use of data.
But it's a fact. You can't disagree with a fact.
It's not a fact. It's just a data point. It's a fact. The data point in and of itself is a fact, but the conclusion that you're drawing from the data point isn't a fact. That's a hypothesis.
That's like saying all the people in all the NBA the percentage of NBA players that are black are 75%. That's a fact. You can't. It doesn't matter.
So it's more
But being black isn't the overall factor of why they're in the NBA, though. You see what I mean? Their height, their talent, their athletic ability.
Why is irrelevant?
I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm just saying I agree with the overall point. I'm just saying it's a poor argument to make to spend $100 to put on the show.
I am lost. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So do you think do you think the following statement is wrong? That I think the statement is essentially, do you disagree that the majority of people who are in prisons grew up without fathers? Do you disagree with that?
If that's what if you took a poll and that's what the numbers came up to, then I don't disagree with that. I would disagree with the statement that's saying they're in prison because they don't have fathers. That's my point.
No, that's not the argument.
That's not what we're saying.
That's what he said on there.
He said he
was using that information as a to strengthen the argument that he was trying to make, where he's trying to say that, if you're not on a team sport and if you don't have a dad, you're a bad girlfriend. That's literally what he said.
So
doesn't make you a bad girlfriend.
A double parent household makes it less likely for them to go to prison. I've met people who went to prison and whose fathers went to prison and whose fathers went to prison, and they're passing down a legacy torch of going to prison. So I don't know.
It's a generalization. Is all we're trying to say.
The exception does not make the rule. That's
correlation does not imply causation.
But we live in a world of generalizations.
This is a great statistics class, but I think ultimately,
can you cut out the sarcasm? We don't need the attitude. Okay, so
get back to dating. Why do you think I'm attituding? This is literally my personality. I promise you. If you think this is mean or rude, I'm not going to sugarcoat myself.
just like, but okay, if we're talking about something, we don't need the extra.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, please
So,
talk about it.
can you pull that back up, Eric? So, fathers keep their sons out of prison and their daughters off the pole. Now, if you grow up without a father, it's not like your future is written in, like, you can still become a functioning member of society.
Absolutely.
It's not a guarantee that if you don't have a father, your life's going to be terrible and you can be a wonderful person. However, it helps to have a father.
I agree with that statement. My whole point, and we can get back to the dating show after this. My whole point is that is a poor example or a poor argument to say that, like, it's just picking one data point rather than like a whole inclusive like scope of what's actually going on that put people in prison and put girls on the pole. So it's like you're drawing a straight line when it's really a zigzag is all I'm saying. Like, and it's just like kind of, I don't want to say an ignorant statement, but it's just like an obtuse statement.
I
is all
also
I'm
was a
saying,
stripper
because we have women
myself
here
on
that
the pole for exercise. Like I do pole fitness, and those classes are so expensive. So I give strippers so much credit because they are athletes. I'm sorry, if you've never climbed up on a pole, pulled yourself upside down, you don't know what working out is, because that is
what? No one
like,
said
it's
strip.
crazy. Like, so like women.
Am I in a parallel universe?
No, we're talking about women are putting themselves on a pole. Well, there are women that purposely want to go on the pole. The pole's fun as f, for whatever. However you want to do it. It's like, and my thought on not having a father, it's based on choices, okay, for the individual and education, honestly. Because, I've met people that did not have a good background. However, they made the choice to go a different route than the spiral, right? It's based on education, and it's not just like books, it's like getting the right information, because you could get information from a friend, like a real friend would tell you what's up, like a bad friend would be like, yeah, go for it, when it's like, don't fucking, like, not really there looking out for you.
So
and that's just
you're saying a lot of words. It's a lot of word salad.
So you're just basically
But
saying
I get
I
think what you're saying
smacking
is
my
the why.
gums?
You're saying the why. The why is irrelevant.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying, you're talking about why these people are where they are.
I think
we're just saying this is where they are. This is the numbers, and this is the reality of the world.
It's choices. It's the individual's choice, and also there are people.
You do this 3 days a week.
2 days a week.
2 days a week.
I believe it's choices. It's not because they have a father and a mother, because sometimes kids are screwed up with both parents. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna last thing, and then we're gonna
last
move
thing.
on.
I think what she's just trying to say is that regardless of your environmental factors, no matter how much they may weigh on you, you still have individual agency and choice. Is what she's saying. She just said it with a bunch of different examples. So I hear you.
Yeah, I could come up with a bunch of different things, and I'm not just smacking my gums.